Hey everybody, Alex here with Momentum Charting. Update session, end of day here on, let's see, today Wednesday, 8/18. Late at night now, about 11 p.m. I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Qs. But just quickly, if you haven't done so yet, guys, jump down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. Doing both of those things will ensure you don't miss any updates on all of these important market updates over the coming days, coming weeks. Really exciting, really interesting time for the markets. Don't miss any of the updates. Subscribe down below. So, with that out of the way, guys, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you guys go back and watch the video I shot on the QQQs. Very first thing early this morning while markets were still in the green, and I did a more detailed video on my thoughts on the Qs, my thoughts on the broad markets, and why I felt the trading session on Wednesday or first thing Thursday was likely to bring a significant drop in the market. And indeed, during the end of the day, last couple hours of the trading day, that is exactly what happened. Brought some major increased volatility in the markets. And guys, I do not yet believe that this correction is quite done. But on a good note, I believe that after this correction is over, it's going to bring an opportunity to jump back into the market at better prices, and we are going to once again go to all-time highs. Kind of on a bad front, this could definitely bring stock prices down a bit. I don't know exactly what the degree this correction is going to take, but one thing is for sure, guys, I have lots of tools in my tool bag. As you can see, I freaking pinpoint nailed to the day, basically, the time that I thought this correction was going to start. And yeah, it doesn't happen like that all the time, guys, but I just felt the setup was really good today, and I was watching it closely today. I was watching this VIX. Again, watch the video I did very first thing this morning on Wednesday to try to get a better feeling of what I was seeing in the broad markets in the VIX. So what I'm going to be basically doing throughout this correction is following a couple of things, and one of the most important things that I'm going to be following is this VIX, which is the volatility indicator for those of you who are not familiar. As the VIX rises, markets drop, increase volatility, and I have a feeling that this correction could take a lot of different forms, but I think it's going to be a little bit tricky. I don't think it's just going to be one gigantic plunge. To whatever degree it happens. Now, I don't know if we're talking here a 2% drop, 5%, maybe up to 10 or 12% drop as far as correction. But I'm going to bring out all my tools in my toolkit to try to follow along. I'll definitely be updating this trend every day to see when we find a bottom, because I do believe once we hit the bottom of this correction, it's going to be a fantastic buying opportunity. So I am obviously involved in a couple of short positions already. May or may not be adding to those depending on how this goes on. But I'm going to getting ready to dump every one of those short positions when I do see a bottom forming in this market, getting ready for our next pump in broad markets to the upside. So I'm going to be watching a couple things very closely. I'm going to be showing you this. Let me just jump over here to the Qs. As I said in the video this morning that I shot, I thought three potentially important levels here were going to be around 362. Well, we nailed that already, but to me, I'm not quite sure. I don't believe that is going to resemble the end of the correction, guys. I think we do have more downside to go. And the next level I put down here was 357, which is going to be our 200 period moving average. Almost 358, right? 357.79 approximately. And then the third level that I pinpointed is going to be around 153. Let me get the ruler tool out quickly here and just kind of see what type of a drop that represents from basically the last couple of days highs. If we were to go stay at the current levels, it's a drop of about 1.8%. 200 period moving average is 3%. And coming down here to this dynamic trend line, it's about 4%, which to me seems reasonable. Is this market going to drop more than 4%? Well, it certainly could. It certainly could. But I'm definitely going to be looking for some sort of reaction at these levels. But these are just kind of temporary levels I'm going to be watching, guys. What I'm going to be watching more than that is for this VIX indicator to roll over to the downside. I'm going to be bringing out all the tools in my toolkit to try to nail this bottom as best I can. Definitely you're going to want to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the updates again over the coming days and weeks as I continue to update this pullback in the markets. So I'm on the 15-minute momentum indicator, which you guys know I love to use, and this is what the trend here I was watching carefully all throughout the day today. I wasn't sure. Well, this is what I notated basically in the video early this morning. I saw us setting up here with this series of positive divergent bottoms, and this was where I first shot the video this morning, right around here, 6:37 in the morning. I saw us pulling back. Now, I didn't know exactly to what levels we were going to come back to. That's what I was saying in the video. I didn't know if it was going to be at some point during the day, midday today, or towards the end of the day, or first thing Thursday morning. But what I notated was that when I did see us pushing back up to the upside, which I felt pretty confident was going to happen, I was going to set our trend line on a 15-minute basis here, which I have done today. So I've got these touch points here from the 13th of August, and I've got this other kind of nice touch point here towards the end of the day today. And I believe that's a pretty solid trend line for us to have in place. Now, what I did do, and what I thought was pretty important to do today when we started turning up around 8, 9 in the morning, I did set this level of support here, and I felt that if we came up here and dropped back through that support, that would signify to me that this correction was over, returning back to a bullish market. But guys, that did not happen. Instead, as you can see, what happened here on our 15-minute momentum, yes, we came up and we started turning back down, but we quickly resumed the trend to the upside, and markets fell off in a big way towards the end of the day. So today, Wednesday. So I've got a trend line in place here on the 15-minute. I believe there is going to be quite a bit of significance to that. So I'm going to be watching this kind of to see if and when we start getting some sort of a maybe double topping in action in here, and we get a breakdown of this 15-minute momentum to the downside. That to me is going to signify our first sort of safety zone, where potentially good spot to get back into the market for a long. That would signify to me a very significant potential that the downside risk is over and this market is going to bottom, and chances are very high for a return for upside momentum back in the market. So I'm going to be watching very closely on this 15-minute VIX. I'm going to be watching where this goes to. Yeah, I'm going to be watching also the momentum on the Qs on a 15-minute time frame, and I did point this out this morning as well. I'll show you guys this here. Just kind of had this on a 15-minute timeline. I was showing that this trend line here was breaking down on our 15-minute time frame. I had this trend line drawn somewhere right around here, and I notated the past couple days we'd started wicking below this trend line, so we wanted to watch this closely. And additionally, we were getting some negative divergence in this 15-minute momentum, which to me started looking a little bit ugly with higher lows lower highs and lower lows developing. And I put this channel here in place today. I was watching kind of for us to drop out of this channel, and we did drop out and kept out towards the end of the day again today. So I'm going to be watching that VIX. I'm going to be watching maybe down similar at these levels here. If we do end up getting down to those levels, represents around July 19th. But also I'm going to be watching for us on this 15-minute momentum to break outside of the bounds of this downward sloping overhead resistance. And like we always like to do, start putting in some structure, a series of higher lows and higher highs to break us out of this negative momentum confluence that we're currently trapped in. So I'm going to be watching both of those. I'm going to be watching the 15-minute momentum on the Qs. I'm going to be watching the 15-minute momentum on our VIX. All right, very importantly, I've got that trend line in place now, which I think is going to have a lot of significance right here, right? I'm going to be watching that. Additionally, I am going to be watching a couple of other things. One of those is the shorter term time frame here of the VIX. I've got a trend line in place here, which I think is going to have some sort of significance here as far as just watching the price action. So far I had 1 and 2 trend lines set on this 1 minute. Now I'm pretty confident in saying I don't think that the volatility in the market, potential downside in the market, is going to end until we break at least to the downside of this 1 minute trend on the VIX. So I'm going to be watching this very closely, updating you guys what I'm seeing there. And yeah, we can almost probably do the same thing on the Qs here. So I'm going to be watching these trend lines here on the Qs as well. Just downside trend lines that I've got set on a 1 minute time frame. So I'm going to be watching for that, watching for pullbacks. Again, I think this could end up being a little bit tricky. I don't think this is going to be like a one shot, just down today and tomorrow and that's it. I think this may end up taking a couple days, a few days, and there are going to be some monstrous moves back to the upside in my opinion. So with all that in mind, we're going to want to be really careful. Watch this very closely to see when it looks like indeed we are getting an end to all the volatility in the markets. And let's see. Lastly, I just want to also watch on the 1 hour time frame. I'm going to be paying close attention to our dynamic RSI, which I think may also bear some interesting fruits here, just paying attention to this. You guys can see here I'm down kind of with really shorter term time frame here on a 1 hour, watching this chart closely of the VIX. I've got this level set, which I believe is going to bear some importance here at 57. So if we come here and we do some whipsawing in these levels at around 57, watching some peaks in here, I believe that once we break down below this level of 57, that is going to be a pretty significant chance of that is the end of this correction in the market. So guys, we have lots of tools here to watch, and I'm going to be updating the breakdown, the short-term correction on the markets over the coming days. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I'm going to be watching all this stuff, momentum, price action, dynamic RSI. You bring out a lot of the tools, all the tools I have in these markets to try to determine to the best of my ability when this correction is end and when it looks like very likely we are getting ready to start this next powerful leg to the upside in broad markets. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys most likely towards the end of the day, maybe sometime midday tomorrow, with an update what it's looking like yeah, for this continued correction in the markets. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see everybody again shortly. Bye for now.